white smoke from its stack coiling into the night. The driver swung around a rail-mounted derrick and parked alongside a 400-foot cargo ship at the end of the wharf. "The Asia Star," General Kim announced. Colonel Hurani checked his watch. It was 1 a.m. "And when do we sail?" "The tides are mild here in Yanghangman Bay, so you can leave any time. The ship is loaded, fueled, and provisioned." Hurani turned to one of his men and asked in Arabic, "What do you think?" He listened to the long reply, nodding several times, then turned back to the general who sat opposite him in the limo. "Asad Muhammad is our technical expert on the Nodong 1 missile. He would like to take a look at them before we depart." Kim's expression didn't change, but it was clear he didn't like the idea of a delay. "I assure you that all 10 missiles your country has purchased are aboard. Still, I will have the harbor master informed that the Asia Star won't leave until first light. Why don't we get on board? I will show you to your cabin so you can store your luggage. Then Mr. Muhammad can inspect your new toys." The driver opened the rear door, and as Kim slid over to exit, Colonel Hurani placed a hand on his uniformed sleeve. Their eyes met. "Thank you, General." Kim's smile was genuine. Despite their cultural differences and the inherent suspicion and secrecy surrounding this mission, he felt he really did like the colonel. "It is no problem." The 3 Syrians each had their own cabin, but only a minute after being shown their accommodations, they met in the one occupied by Colonel Hurani. Asad Muhammad sat on the bunk with a briefcase beside him, while Hurani placed himself at the desk below the room's single porthole. The third member of their party, and the oldest of the trio, Professor Walid Khalidi, leaned against a bulkhead, his arms crossed over his chest. Hurani then did a very strange thing. He touched the corner of his eye, then pointed at his ear and nodded in the affirmative. He indicated the ceiling-mounted light fixture in the center of the cabin and the cheap brass-plated lamp attached to the desk. "How long do you think the inspection should take, Assad?" he then asked. Asad Mohammed had taken a miniature tape recorder from his suit jacket and hit play. A digitally altered voice, actually that of Hurani himself since he was the only member of the team who spoke Arabic, replied, "I think no more than a few hours. The most time-consuming part is simply removing inspection covers. Testing the circuits is simple." By this time, Hurani had also drawn a recorder from an inside jacket pocket and set it on the desk. As soon as Assad finished speaking, he too hit the play button, and the conversation continued as the men remained silent. At a predetermined moment in the script, Walid Khalidi added his own recorder to the ruse. Once the 3 recorders playing altered versions of Hurani's voice were working, the trio moved silently to the far corner of the cabin. "Only 2 bugs," Max Hanley mused quietly. "The Koreans really do trust their Syrian customers." Juan Cabrillo, the chairman of the corporation and the captain of the merchant ship Oregon, tore the fake mustache from his upper lip. The skin beneath was lighter than the layers of self-tanning cream he'd used to darken his complexion. "Remind me to tell Kevin in the magic shop that his appliance glue is worthless." He had a bottle of the suspect glue and reapplied a line to the back of the mustache. "You look like Snidely Whiplash trying to keep that thing in place." This from Ali Qasim, the 3rd-generation Lebanese-American who'd been newly promoted to the Oregon's security and surveillance director. He was the only member of her crew who didn't need makeup and latex inserts to pass as Middle Eastern. "How are we on time?" Max Hanley asked. Hanley was the corporation's president and was in charge of all their ship's operations, especially her gleaming magnetohydrodynamic engines. While Cabrillo negotiated the contracts the corporation took on and was responsible for a good deal of their planning, it fell on Max's capable shoulders to make sure the Oregon and her crew was up to the task. While the crew of the Oregon were technically mercenaries, they maintained a corporate structure for their outfit. Apart from his duties as the ship's chief engineer, Hanley handled day-to-day administration and acted as the company's human resource director. Under his robes and headscarf, Hanley was a little taller than average, with a slight build. His eyes were an alert brown, and what little hair remained atop his reddened skull was auburn. He'd been with Juan since the day the corporation was founded, and Cabrillo believed that without his number 2